on Instagram.
I do want to say I am very excited for the Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer's looking real good right now, and I know I haven't really put my hat in the scene, but this is like a billionaire I would vote for. Tom Steyer, thumbs up, man. I actually want this guy to win in California so badly.
The richest people in America think that they earned everything themselves. Bullshit, man. That's so ridiculous. There's a reason everybody comes here to start businesses, because this is the place that invents the future. I never want to lose that spark. I'm Tom Steyer. I wanted to build a business here. Now it's worth billions of dollars. And I walked away from it because I wanted to give back to California. I've taken on the out-of-state corporations that refuse to pay their California taxes. I've taken on the oil companies. I've taken on the tobacco companies. We've raised billions of dollars for Californian citizens without charging Californian citizens a nickel. Every day I was judged by numbers. So let's get down to brass tacks. Californians deserve a life they can afford. But the Californians who make this state run are being run over by the cost of living. We need to get back.
Yep, they absolutely are. And Gavin Newsom does not give a fuck. He is so pro-corporation. There's not been a single time in Gavin Newsom's entire existence where he hasn't pushed against corporation-backed interest.
To basics. And that means making corporations pay their fair share again. Californians deserve the top 10 education state. They deserve to be able to afford to live in a decent house. I will launch the largest drive to build homes that you can afford.
Yeah, build homes in Dude, if California didn't have so many zoning laws against multi-use buildings, like housing on the top and stores on the bottom, oh my God, it would be a perfect state.
In the history of California, we have the second highest electricity rates in the country. If we break up the monopolistic power of utilities, we're going to unleash a complete wave of innovation and drop our sky-high energy prices. This is about disrupting the way people think so we can get a completely different and much better outcome.
God, California really is God's country. It's such a beautiful... Pacific Northwest, man, is God's country.
For the people of California.
It's so
I'm
fucking
saying
beautiful.
We have a broken government. It's been bought by corporations. And my question is, who do you think is going to change that?
Sacramento politicians are afraid to change up this system. I'm not. They're going to hate this. Bring it on.
He's also radically pro-trans.
In the race for
Well, I want to watch this interview from a couple hours ago.
New polling from Create Strategies.
Dude, Tom Steyer's at 20%, and he just got an endorsement from Mark Hamill.
Shows an equally tight race. Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton separated by just a point among likely voters. Tom Steyer places third with 20.
Climate activist and Democratic candidate for Governor Tom Steyer joins us once again with more. Thank you, sir, for being with us tonight. A few days out, you look at those polls. How you feeling, sir? You say momentum is on your side.
I think it is. And
Javier Becerra is not bad either, but he's not great compared to Tom Steyer.
You say that poll's a couple of weeks old, and those couple of weeks has made a huge difference.
Both of them are being pro queer.
The polls that I've seen in the last couple of days tell a very different story, where either I'm tied or ahead. So I think I'm not paying attention to polls. My job is to go out and see more Californians and hear their story and make sure I'm representing them faithfully. That's my job. That's what I've been doing. And I think I've seen more Californians by far than any other candidate.
Mr. Steyer, looking at the RCP average of polls, this really appears like a three-horse race right now. When we wake up on June 3rd, who would you rather be in the final two with, Steve Hilton or Javier Becerra?
You know, honestly, that isn't a question that I think about, because once again, look, this has been such a complicated race.
The big thing with Javier is that he's pro-Israel. I don't remember if Tom Steyer is. Is he? Yeah, he's more pro-Palestinian, if I can remember. I have to get more information of Javier Becerra.
And it has boiled down to a simple race, which is Steve Hilton, Javier Becerra, and me. And I'm the person in this race who's fighting for working people, who's taking on the corporate special interests. And that's my job, is to make sure that I explain why I'm so different from a hard right MAGA Republican
or a corporate Democrat who's taking money from all the biggest corporations in our state, including
He
Chevron.
doesn't have to take corporation money because he has enough.
That's my job, and I really can't worry about the other candidates or, you know, how the polls come out. My job is just to make sure that I'm making the case to Californians and listening to them diligently to make sure that I'm explaining the right things and, you know, representing them faithfully. That's my job.
You talk about money. To date, you have personally spent some $210 million on this campaign. That in itself a record. If you do not make the runoff, was it worth it? And would you consider bankrolling Javier Becerra or any other Democrat that might make it to November?
Well, let me say this. The people, the corporations and billionaires have spent a record amount of money against me. The most money ever spent to try and stop a candidate in any race in California. And that is a very simple reflection of the fact that they're making an investment in their future profits. They know that I'm the person who wants single payer. They know I'm the person who's taking on the electric monopolies and the oil companies. They know that I'm the person representing change in California. So that is all I'm focused on right now, is that there are a group of billionaires and huge corporations who absolutely are against me, and that the people who are for me are the working people.
Yeah, here's the Mark Ruffalo endorsement. Deliver single-payer healthcare, break up utility monopolies, provide free public education from pre-K through college, prosecute ICE agents, tax big corporations and billionaires like himself, make big oil. And Mark Ruffalo is a great guy.
Interests are spending nearly $50 million to stop me. It's not an accident. It's a tell. If the corporations that are making this... ICE is a criminal organization. They are built to terrorize.
I think this is part of why Gavin Newsom's changed his tune so much, because of Tom Steyer.
The nurses, the teachers, the people who work in restaurants and hotels, who are home care workers and child care workers. That's what this race is about, and that's all I'm focused on for the next 5 days.
Okay, so a ton of issues to dive into. Let's dive in. It's there in your background. One of the key differences between you and Javier Becerra is on single-payer health care. Why is that the way to go? And how do you...
Single-payer health care is great.
You pay for it.
So let me say this. If you look at the budget of California, the state, or you talk to families, you see the same story, that the continued escalation of health costs, which has gone on at twice the rate of inflation for 50 years, is eating up every family. It's eating up employers who have to pay for the health costs for their employees, and it's eating up the budget of the state of California. Single-payer healthcare systems across the globe cost about half as much as our system, and they produce outcomes that are at least as good as our system. We really don't have a choice. If you're looking at what we're spending right now in healthcare, and healthcare is a right for Californians. We have to all accept that. It's a right, but its costs are eating up the budget and taking away from everything else that Californians need. It's taking away from education. It's taking away from childcare. So when you think about where we are, the idea that we can continue the way we're going is not true. If you look at where we are, we need to move to single-payer healthcare because that is the only way for us to control costs and get costs down so that
God, it would be so nice. It would be so nice.
Californians can afford healthcare for everybody, but at a price where the other services of California can also be delivered.
You've said that voters should judge you by those who oppose your campaign. Among them, as you mentioned, the big oil companies and utilities. They've spent a lot of money,
including Chevron, which Javier took money from Chevron.
To defeat you. If elected, how would you keep them accountable?
Well, let me say this. Let's take them separately, if that's okay. The electric companies are legal monopolies, and they are charging Californians twice as much as the average of the rest of the United States.
Yep.
And it's not
because electric companies can literally do whatever they want with pricing. They they have basically no stoppage on how much they can charge you.
like the sun doesn't shine in California. Our electricity is not more expensive. What I've said is we will regulate them differently at the Public Utilities Commission, and we will enable local competition so that actually their small local grids deliver.
God, dude, small local grids without any corporate oversight. Oh my God.
Bring electricity at much lower prices and forcing these monopolies to compete. In terms of the oil companies, obviously they have taken advantage of the war, the failed war
And oil companies can set gas prices to higher than they should be.
That Donald Trump started in Iran to drive up the price of a gallon of gas at the pump by $1.50. And Chevron is charging more than any other oil company by $1 a gallon. And what I've said is, look, if you are making windfall profits, your costs aren't going up, but you're taking advantage of Californians and gouging them at the pump because you can. Well, it turns out you're getting windfall profits, and there's such a thing as a windfall profits tax. They are robbing California.
Oh, dude. And this is the problem I've always had with oil companies, and I've been saying this for years. Like, they can artificially say how much oil they can charge you for, even though they have tons of it. And they pay nearly nothing compared to what they charge you for. The Iranian war is a little different, but post-COVID, they were charging people a lot more than oil was worth.
At the pump, and we have a chance to take that money back and send it directly to the people who are being, gouged. That's what we should. In each case, what we see is unfair market power by huge companies at the expense of working Californians who are having trouble affording California in the first place. Right. And in both places, I'm saying we can't give in to their structural power and their structural advantage. The governor has to stand up for working California.
Tom Steyer's kind of one of those examples, like, where if like somebody has a lot of money, they can be a good person.
In both cases, put money back in their pocket, and that's exactly what I aim to do.
So you've called for the abolishment of ICE, calling the agency a criminal organization, and have called for the prosecution of agents. Now, you've also said that you'll bring those detained and kidnapped by ICE back home. So how do you plan to carry this out?
Oh my God.
And are you essentially saying that federal immigration laws will not apply?
By the way, Tom Steyer and his brother, like both like very wealthy people, never appeared in the Epstein files. They also criticized the Epstein files and criticized the fact that Epstein was let go.
In California?
What I've said is this. I've said that ICE is a criminal organization. It's been designed to terrorize, to racially profile, and to harm Californians. And I've said I believe in the abolishing ICE. I don't believe the governor of California can abolish a federal agency by the stroke of a pen. So what I've said is, we will hold them accountable in the state of California for what they do in the state of California. And that means we will
literally just prosecute them. It's that easy. And no governor is going to do it right now. Is Minnesota starting to prosecute people? I'm pretty sure Minnesota's starting to prosecute people.
We'll prosecute them for racial profiling, which is illegal here. We will prosecute them for violence against California, including the people who send them to do violence, because that's illegal here. We will inspect their detention centers, because I'm sure there are crimes being committed there. Those detention centers are in California. They're closed.
Yeah, an ICE agent was recently arrested in Texas for it.
That's not okay. And I've said we'll have well-funded legal defense funds for people who have been kidnapped or who are under threat of deportation, because the immigration system doesn't provide lawyers, even though it's a legal system. And what I'm saying is, you really don't do well in the legal system unless you have a representative who understands.
I think I'm pro Tom Steyer. Unless some information comes out, I think I'm pro Tom Steyer on this.
The law.
I've been reading, and I'm bringing him up now because I spent the entire day at work reading about governor's race in California. But obviously, my opinion can change, and it's very like forthcoming. I haven't really been paying attention to California as much as I've been paying into like New York, Minneapolis, and like the Midwest, but especially with like what's his name, Rob Sand. We really need Rob Sand to win in Iowa. That'd be fucking monumental if Rob Sand flipped Iowa. But I think I put my chips on Tom Steyer here.
What I'm saying is we will hold them accountable in the state of California to live by the decent laws that we all live under, and not bring with them violence and racial profiling and illegal detention centers.
You can literally prosecute every single ICE agent for racial profiling based off if they arrested a Hispanic person, by the way. It'd be that easy. It
seems very reasonable to me. I know we need immigration services, but we don't need a criminal organization that was designed to terrorize. You can't explain to me why they're wearing masks, why they have assault rifles. They're clearly something very different from an immigration service.
We have about a minute left. News this week. I want to get to this. Hundreds of UC faculty urging the system to return to the SAT or ACT test requirements for STEM applicants, citing student unpreparedness. California K-12 schools, as you know, rank 38th in the country. Look, we have the fourth largest economy in the world. And again, 38th in the country for K-12. Where is the disconnect? How do you fix that?
Oh, look, I'm the only person running for governor who's talking about K through 12.
Yep.
And what I've said is this: on day one, I will call a special election to close the corporate tax loophole to bring over $20 billion to the state of California every year.
And like Mom Donnie's doing this shit. Mom Donnie is doing this shit, and Tom Steyer pulls off the same shit as Mom Donnie with funding schools, infinite winning.
Including almost half of that for education.
But again, like I'm very skeptical of him. Mom Donnie's got me on a little bit of a high, but I'm very skeptical of the ability for him to get shit done.
The way you get good outcomes with students is to have great teachers.
Yep.
We need to attract, train, and retain great teachers, and that's what that money is for.
By paying them
We
more
are the
money.
38th in the country. We used to be number one, and when you do a cost-adjusted basis, we're somewhere in the 30s. And what do we pay our teachers? We need to have more money going to the teachers.
Guy, I actually do really like him. He also hates AIPAC. Woo! Wait. Rick Chavez is taking back his endorsement for Steyer. Governor Steyer's campaign attributed to the rift of the stance of American Israeli public. AIPAC. Israel policy shaping the California's governor races. Tom Steyer loses Assembly member Rick Chavez Zabur endorsement, which Steyer attributes to his AIPAC. Dude, you're getting a follow from me. You're getting a follow from me. Also, this shit.
Reels I saw, you guys were talking about me and the support that I had, despite all the social media drama. So I found it pretty interesting that you're set on just basically a set choice on where you stand with trans athletes.
I am.
It was nice to just have a straight decision on who you support.
Well, you know what I always say, and I think I said this to your mom, most people support you 90% of the time, just not the 10% you need them for. If we're going to be on side.
Yep, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Democrats will support trans people 90% of the time, but then drop that 10% when it becomes apparently politically convenient for them to, even though it's lost them more support than ever.
100% of the time.
I've been outed like so many times over and over, you know, docs where I go to school. So I feel like more safety aspect and not just supporting, but
Protecting.
Protection.
I totally agree. Look, I was saying in this town hall, it's the job of the governor to stand between danger and Californians. And I mean it. And to make sure that people are safe and to protect them from
That
all
includes
the
you,
malign influences
gorgeous
in this
woman.
world. And I take that super, super, super seriously for you, just so you know. And I'm so proud of you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So proud of you for succeeding. So proud of you for competing. That's really the point.
He's so good, man. I'm becoming more and more of a fan. I know he's a billionaire and people get mad at me for it, but you gotta be like, hey, this guy's doing good. If he's doing good, he's doing good. And he's like not a billionaire who lucked his way in. He actually did work his ass off. Though I don't think anyone should have $1 billion, and I think he kind of agrees with that concept. So we'll see. We'll see where he goes from here. I'm gonna keep my eye on you, Tom Steyer. Keep my fucking eye on you.